Hey there, and welcome back to the Dr. Theresa Nicassio Show. This is a place of inspiration, education, and hope for a kinder, healthier, and more sustainable world. It's wonderful that you've been able to join us today for this very, very special program. I'm so excited to share it with you. This is the third and final segment of our three-part Mindful Living series that we are dedicating to all whose lives have been and are continuing to be profoundly impacted by the wave of hurricanes and storms, tornadoes, fires, you name it, all the things that's been going on these past few weeks. When planning for my guests for this series, it's really amazing. I had no idea how relevant and timely this Mindful Living series was going to be. And as you're going to see, today's guest, Dr. Paul Epstein, is going to be talking about how we can change our stories of suffering and into opportunities for growth and healing. Whether we're talking about our bodies, our minds, or our planet, the more we can find ways to cope with the all-too-real realities of living and join together in our humanity, the possibilities for love and transformation can be much more easily in reach. So I have to say that, I wish I could say differently, actually, that while nothing can really rid you or rid any of us really of the aches that you or any of us may be feeling right now, especially if you are in the middle of suffering or trying to pull your life together as best as you can. I hope that today's show will offer you some hope and perhaps a new perspective on your experience, whether it's related to the recent natural disasters or not. As I mentioned before, please don't hesitate to seek professional help if your loved ones are in need of emotional support during this time, or any time for that matter. Contact your local Red Cross or other disaster relief organizations. There's lots going on out there, a lot of great people doing good things, to get more information about how you can access emergency services in your area. Anyway, on that note, I want to take a special acknowledgement for the generosity that many of you are all doing, that you're trying to do to help with the rescue efforts for the victims, as well as all of you who are increasing your efforts to educate around climate change and other initiatives to help heal our aching planet. We're talking about our aching bodies, our aching hearts, and we also have our aching planet we're all facing right now. If you'd like to support the program or have any products or services that you want to share with my audience, please go to the TheresaNicassio.com website, and that's Theresa with an H, and that's an N like Nancy, one C, two S's, TheresaNicassio.com website to make a donation or to email me for more information. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank those of you who have already made donations. Your contributions really make a difference. Some super important big news that I have to share is that after today's show, the Dr. Theresa Nicassio Show will become a monthly program with an all-new time slot that will be on Thursdays and with new live stream times also. We are going to be kicking off this new time slot with our beloved functional medicine doctor, Dr. Jill Carnahan, and she's going to be talking about toxic mold exposure. And some of you may be aware of it. There's getting more press about it. She's been doing a lot of educating around it, but she's going to be this is really important, and she's going to be talking about this at a really timely time because, especially after the storms, we're going to be seeing a lot of toxic mold build up and things happening over the next few months. So you're going to be wanting to be aware of it and watch the show. And if you miss it again when it's on, you can always reference back to the website, TheresaNicassio.com website, to listen anytime down the road. So, starting on Thursday, October 12th, this show is going to be airing at noon Eastern time. So it's going to be it's still going to be lunchtime radio, but it'll be lunchtime for those of you on the Eastern Seaboard, like today's guest. It'll be 9 a.m. Pacific time, maybe late breakfast time radio. And then again, it will air again each evening of the initial broadcast. So it'll be airing again on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Pacific time or midnight for you late night owls, East Coast time. Following the initial air date, the show will continue to be broadcast twice per week for the remainder of the month. You can find details about the other stream times on the TheresaNicassio.com website that I'll be putting on there as those dates get approached. But right now we're still on the old familiar paradigm. On the website you'll also find links to all of the previous shows, podcasts, which I put on YouTube so that you can listen to them anytime, over time, and appreciate the wisdom from our guests. So, speaking of our guests, woohoo! I have to say that, as you know, I'm a holistic psychologist, and especially as an integrative mind-body holistic psychologist, I can't tell you how excited I am to be able to introduce to you today's guest, naturopath Dr. Paul Epstein. As many of you probably already know, Dr. Epstein has been a leader in the whole person healing movement for the past 30-plus years, I think, sharing his wisdom worldwide, lecturing and presenting workshops to integrative health and medicine students and practitioners all around the globe. In his practice, Dr. Epstein integrates naturopathic medicine with a wide range of mind-body therapies, including narrative medicine, mindfulness meditation, stress reduction techniques, Buddhist psychology and contemplative psychotherapy. His individualized and integrative treatment approach has offered hope and respite to countless patients with chronic diseases and serious health challenges. So I feel like he and I are sort of like interesting bookends of the same process in some ways, but with different focuses in our expertise. Today, Dr. Paul is going to be talking about his belief that the goal of medicine should not be to silence the symptoms of pain and illness, but instead to look at these experiences as offering opportunities for profound awakening and true healing of the body, mind, and spirit. Dr. Epstein's wisdom and transformative perspective is especially relevant as we dedicate this show, I have to say, to everyone who is trying to find meaning and direction in the wake of the recent storms, earthquakes, tragedies, all of these things. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today, Paul. And during such a poignant time, and ironically, right in the midst of the Jewish high holidays, which I know is something that you celebrate. So thank you again for being here today.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. And yes, it's an auspicious time of healing and compassion for others in pain and suffering. And you referenced the holiday, which is a period of self-reflection and exploration of self-healing and how to be better people and how to support others in their journeys as well.
Yeah. You know, as you're just saying that, I'm one of those people who get shivers a lot, but I just got goosebumps. You know, it really is a time. And I think we're going to be interweaving today. I think, Paul, some of these issues. I know that a lot of times you do talks, and it's more specifically about the physical, emotional experience. But we are looking at the broad picture. But can we just start by you sharing with us a little bit about who you are? I mean, a lot of the people, those of you listening, know Paul, but it's always nice to hear the story, and then those of you who don't know, let's get a sense of who you are and how your journey led you to working in the epicenter, really, of suffering.
Well, I think it's a combination of both a personal evolution as well as professional, and they go together. Initially, in my search for career and finding meaning in my life and purpose of how I wanted to serve, I began studying Montessori education, early childhood education. And what I learned from that was that learning was a natural process. And if you want a child to learn, you simply create an environment for learning. And in that environment, the child will learn as part of, again, a natural innate capacity. And from there, in my personal journey and my own struggles, I began studying and practicing yoga and then teaching yoga, looking for answers within. And in that process, I became a yoga teacher. And as a yoga teacher, I observed many people, this is back in the 70s, coming where there wasn't much holistic, integrative, natural, whole person, functional medicine, naturopathic medicine at that time. And so people with allergies and asthma and arthritis and heart disease and cancer were looking for answers and looking for healing themselves, and they were looking at it through the practices of yoga, which at the time was more of a whole person approach of both personal and spiritual evolution. And I wasn't really interested in healing in that sense. I was just teaching yoga. I was teaching people breathing and meditation and positive thinking and a healthy diet and asanas and the physical aspects of yoga and a different consciousness of how to understand the mind and body and spirit and see things in a different way. And lo and behold, I was observing, witnessing people healing themselves, people with arthritis and asthma, just practicing those things. I wasn't treating, I wasn't doing anything except giving them tools for self-healing. And that got me interested in what was happening on this level of healing. And for me, the most profound aspects that I became aware of were not just the physical changes that were happening with their diagnosed illnesses that they had, but with who they were as a person and what was happening inside their minds and hearts, and most particularly in their consciousness. And I'm guided by the wisdom of a lot of different traditions and a lot of different knowledge and information from a whole host of sources. Chief among them is a quote that stays with me with Einstein, which is, you can't solve a problem with the same consciousness that created it. Mm-hmm. When I read that, it was like, oh, in this body pain, in this illness, in this disease, which needs proper diagnosis and treatment. So that's an important context here. What I'm talking about is not in place of it, separate from it, better than an integration of the best of all forms of medicine and healing that one needs. So one that I've been oriented towards is to help people look inside and find that deeper place of opportunity in the pain through the nature of their illness and understand where it comes from and how there can be healing in the process of looking deeper, even while they're looking for the appropriate diagnosis of treatment from a whole host of sources, conventional, natural, alternative, complementary, functional, whatever terms one wants to use. Mm-hmm. And that inspired me to go to become a naturopathic physician, where the philosophy of our profession is that healing is natural and it comes from within. And our role as clinicians and physicians is to support and stimulate that self-healing tendency with clients. So we learned nutrition and diet, and we learned herbal medicine and homeopathic medicine and Chinese medicine and acupuncture and all of these various natural healing modalities in the spirit of our philosophical approach, which was to support the whole person, engage the person in their healing, treat the underlying cause, and the doctor is teacher. Mm-hmm. At that time, Theresa, I also read a book by Ken Pelletier, Ph.D., psychologist. The title of the book was Mind as Healer, Mind as Slayer. Mm-hmm. And that got me interested in the power of mind for self-healing, that our attitudes, our beliefs, our emotions, our relationships, how we were viewing our perspective about our life and our illness and our pain was indeed an important element in the process of healing, of transformation, of facing it, of dealing with it as we went through that process. And that got me engaged in natural healing from a mind-body perspective when I began studying different therapies and tools of guided imagery and voice dialogue and focusing and beginning to help people look inside to find for themselves the meaning and the message and the opportunity that their pain might have for them. And the more I began to look and listen and ask questions on that level, lo and behold, it opened the door to a whole world of issues and opportunities that had heretofore been kind of buried away. The terminology now that may help bring us to this understanding of the mind-body connection and treating the whole person. Titles of books now dealing with trauma. The Body Keeps the Score by a Professor Vanderkolk, who specializes in treatment and healing from PTSD. Or a neurologist, The Body Bears the Burden. Or The Body Speaks the Mind. Or a quote that I like, the body remembers what the mind tries to forget. So the traumas and pains and stresses that we go through, they live in us. They live in our bodies. And that became the focus of what I would see and touch when I was sitting with a patient. Not that they didn't need the right testing and the right diagnosis, not that they might need a drug, might not need a drug or surgery or herbs or to change their diet. But my sense was that deep inside there was a place inside that was saying, please love me, please see me, please recognize me. Yeah. And I've been able, through the process of the studies that are coming through in mind-body, particularly in the context of how your biography becomes your biology, how trauma and adverse childhood events and ACEs that happen in our childhood actually live with us and stay with us. They're not lost. Yeah. They're almost embodied in us until we touch them. So I've become expert, as it were, in helping people kind of trace back the moment of their pain and their illness to where does it come from? Where's that first moment of illness beginning? And explore the healing of that along with the other aspects of treatment and therapy they might need to address the diagnosis. If I might share on that level a really important phrase from Alice Miller, who wrote The Drama of the Gifted Child, which to me, again, is the essence of the mind-body connection. And the studies are overwhelming of the connection between our traumas and disease later in life and the suffering from our addictions, which are designed to avoid the pain that we carry. Because we didn't have the resources, and we didn't have the choice, and we didn't have the support as we went through it. We had to survive. So the way we've survived is we bury it. We carry them as burdens, the pain, the shame, the hurt, the fear, the anger, the resentment, the guilt, whatever we got embodied, not through a fault of our own, and not to be victims, but just to honor the truth of what happened to us. And I'm guided by two sayings that I learned through exploring the work of Alice Miller. And I'll share one, and it's really powerful. And so when I'm seeing a patient of whatever age, I'm looking, is there a little place inside? Is there a part of them that's scared and helpless and needs love? Yes, they have irritable bowel, and yes, we have to balance their microbiota, and yes, they have toxicities and have to detox and cleanse, and yes, they may need some supplements, and they may have a disease requiring a medication or surgery. But underneath that, there's a wound. Momentarily, I'll share the personal side of where this comes from me, but let me come back to Alice Miller. The truth about childhood is stored up in our bodies and lives in the depths of our souls. Our intellect can be deceived. Our feelings can be numbed and manipulated. Our perception shamed and confused. Our bodies tricked with medication. But our soul never forgets. And because we are one whole soul in one body, someday our body will present its bill. And when I read that, and sitting with someone who comes to me as a doctor, therapist, meditation teacher, in pain and suffering, saying, please help me, please heal me, please cure me, please guide me, please support me, please free me from this, which is the calling of my career and my life, to support people in that journey. And as much as I want to help them take it away, as much as I want to do things to them and treat them and give them the right treatment in order to free them from that. And I've learned so many techniques and so many therapies, all of which are important and valuable in what I call a healing soup, many of which ingredients are needed for that journey to unfold. I find the deepest contained in a quote, again, from Alice Miller. the liberating experience of facing painful truth. All sickness, from my perspective, is homesickness, and all healing is self-healing. A journey home. So for me, my journey has been to help people transform their pain, their stress, their illness, into a journey of self-healing and awakening and transformation. In that context, we welcome the pain. We listen to the pain. We honor the pain. It may represent a part of us saying, please love me. Yes, we need to treat it. We need to prevent it from doing damage. We need to heal the pain that it causes. We need to prevent further evolution of the disease. But at its deeper core, from a mind-body perspective, it's a wound saying, please love me. And so I've learned these mind-body approaches simply to help people look inside themselves to find their truth and then witness for them, be there with them, with compassion, with presence, with a healing relationship of caring. Not so much I want to fix you and cure you, but I want to help you be with your own truth in a loving, compassionate way. And in addition to the proper treatment from a conventional and naturopathic perspective, all of that together is what moves people forward in their journey. And it's an exciting journey. And I'll share my own personal issue as well.
Just Paul, we're going to have to go for a break. This is so wonderful. And, the integrative, that really addressing the whole person is critical. And so we're going to need to go to a break now, but this is so, folks. As you can see, Dr. Paul has so much to share. When we come back, he's going to share with us more about how we can use pain and see pain and illness as our teachers, and help us with our healing, and the how-to, how we can go from this. You can talk about these things till he's blue in the face, but he's like, well, you may be asking, how. So when we come back, Dr. Paul is going to talk with us about that. So stick around.
Being inspired by a speaker while learning everyday positive information that you can use to help your life is exactly what Dr. Theresa Nicassio does when she speaks in front of your group. From healthcare professionals to special needs parenting and everything in between, Dr. Theresa Nicassio can customize topics for your group on everything from health to psychology. To book Dr. Theresa Nicassio as a speaker for your group, visit yumfoodforliving.com or call 604-445-6463. That's 604-445-6463.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. EarthChannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to EarthChannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call earthchannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
Yumfoodforliving.com is the place to get easy, allergy-free recipes, all free of sugar, gluten, and dairy. But that's not all you'll get when you visit Yumfoodforliving.com. You'll get resources for all kinds of things like wellness articles, videos, podcasts, a blog, all to help you create easy, healthy living. There's even a 50-page downloadable book introducing you to the philosophy of Yum. Don't wait. Visit Yumfoodforliving.com. Yumfoodforliving.com. That's Yumfoodforliving.com.
If you like to spend your television viewing time learning about some of the things that you may have missed in history class, or if history was your favorite subject, then you should check out the link to the History Channel on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page. Order DVD sets by series or by subject matter right from our homepage while you still enjoy your favorite HealthyLife.net show.
You're listening to HealthyLife.net, the radio network that brings positive talk with positive change to make your world a little better.
Welcome back to the Dr. Theresa Nicassio Show. For those of you who are just joining us, on today's show we're talking with Integrative Medicine pioneer Dr. Paul Epstein about how pain and illness can be some of our greatest teachers. And before the break, as those of you who were here last, or who weren't here, but those of you who were here heard, Dr. Paul was talking about really broadening our lens of how we think about health and wellness and healing from the more mechanized physical health to realizing how we think about ourselves and how all of this affects our mind and body as well, mind and spirit as well, which indirectly and directly can have an impact on our body as well. So one of the things we were talking about is just mentioning that we can talk about the idea that pain and illness can be our teachers and offer opportunities. What we're going to talk about in this segment is, we're going to look at the how we do it through mindfulness and medicine, contemplative medicine, but more from a case example approach. So, Paul, you were mentioning you'd like to share some cases, some examples.
Yeah, I think it's important from what I said to present more of a foundation and context so that the how will make more sense in that way. So let me just share two stories, making long stories short, to get it down to a very practical level, down to earth. One of the biggest issues in our culture is weight loss. It's a body issue because the person has excess weight. It's a health issue because it's generally, there are sequelae of illnesses that go with that, from diabetes to heart disease to arthritis to back pain to the like. So it's a challenge that we have. And we only have to look on TV at any moment to see the various solutions presented to us that will cure us of this ill. And all of them actually have value and benefit in their positive effect of how to do it. From Nutrisystem to Jenny Craig to Oprah to Diet Center to LA Weight Loss to whichever one you are choosing to do at any point in time, they will be effective. The studies show that maybe 90% of the time you'll lose the 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds. Unfortunately, the studies also show that 90% of the time you gain it back.
Right.
That's called recidivism. That's not success. That's not healing. That's changing the body through diet and exercise, but not dealing with the consciousness as to what it's about and what it means and how it might serve them and what purpose it may have. Now, as a naturopathic physician, of course, I want to work with their metabolism and their microbiota and all of the other hormonal and clinical aspects of health and healing happening in their body that also facilitate working with the issue of weight, individualized for each client. There is no one answer. But on another level, there is a perspective of what does the weight mean? What's it about? Why does it keep coming back? And so I had a person came to me suffering. She's in pain. She's lost weight and gained weight 20 times. She's not alone. It's a universal experience. I said the studies show there is a 90% recidivism rate.
Right.
How is it possible that this industry stays in business failing 90% of the time? Right. All they're doing is reinforcing repetition compulsion. But I said to this person, and what I do with my patients when I see them, I'll say, dis-ease, your symptom, your illness, your diagnosis tells a story not just of your cells and your diagnosis and what's wrong with you, your weight, your arthritis, your cancer, but of your life, of who you are. And we need to listen to and integrate both stories. So an overweight woman who's been struggling with her obesity for years comes to see me because I'm good with weight, and she met somebody that I help them lose weight and give her a diet because that's how she thinks weight loss is going to happen.
Right.
And back to Einstein and Jung, all neuroses is a substitute for legitimate suffering and a part that's scared and helpless and needs love. And this profoundly changed my career in terms of really understanding, as much as I knew what to do and how to fix it and get rid of the pain and the illness, it really wasn't going to be helpful if I wasn't also addressing the component of it that was connected to these deeper wounds and purposes. And I said to Mrs. Jones, "Why do you want to lose weight, Mrs. Jones?" And she said, "Because I'm fat and ugly and I hate myself. And I'm ashamed of myself in my clothes." "Okay, Mrs. Jones, sure, I'll fix you right up. Yep, I can give you a diet, get those 50 pounds off real quick. Here, take some supplements, do this test. Boom, you got it." Right. You know what? I could have helped her lose 58 pounds that way. But I wouldn't have helped her heal I'm fat and ugly and I hate myself because she had lost the weight 10 times. It didn't make her love herself. And I said to Mrs. Jones, if you're willing to do two things, I'm happy to work with you. And I can come up with a better diet than the general one that you'll get from those companies, which aren't necessarily individualizing care or understanding your personal metabolism and your personal biochemistry and your personal health history, which we as naturopathic doctors are trained to do and capable of doing. First, I said, when you want to come, let's work on I want to lose weight because I love myself, not because I'm fat and ugly and I hate myself. I love myself. Then I'll give you a diet. Reality is, she won't need a diet when she says that. And the second is to ask her the question, are you willing to listen to the other voices of yourself speaking? Maybe there's a part of you deep inside, underneath that fat, that you're hating and trying to get rid of and keeps coming back, that's speaking to you, that's saying something. Let's listen to it. So these are the questions that I ask. How did you come to be this way? What's this about? Are you willing to listen to the truth that may be there? And I did, as you may be aware, one of the mind-body tools that's really powerful is guided imagery. Let's take the story out of it. Let's really listen to it. She got an image of a down comforter, and she began weeping on the table. In that instant, she realized that the fat that she's been hating and trying to get rid of actually was her friend. Her pain was her teacher, her protector, keeping her safe.
Yes, totally.
She had been buried underneath from childhood trauma, childhood sexual abuse, that had been buried with the fat, that hadn't gotten touched by years of losing weight and not exploring its deeper meaning and message and opportunity. Yeah. The paradox here, I just listened, I don't know if people are familiar with Sounds True. It's a wonderful resource of healers and speakers. They just had a wonderful summit. I listened to some of them on self-acceptance. Every single presenter, famous people with tapes and articles and books, shared their truth of their pain, the truth of their trauma, was the source of their healing and recovery and inspiration and transformation, making them successful. They're human. This is universal. We all have this pain. We all have these wounds. And our job is, a healing of it is to recognize it and embrace it, not do things to get rid of it. So this is a line from getting into mindfulness and spiritual healing in a positive perspective of contemplative medicine, to explore, reflect on it, explore our relationship to it, explore a way to be resilient, how to respond to it in a new way, teach people new ways, give them new choices and new resources. That woman didn't have them when she was abused as a child. She just had to survive. She had to bury it, exile away that pain, block it away. She needed the weight to protect her. Other people need other compulsions and addictions and perfectionisms and issues to support them in their journey of survival. Yeah. So our work is to move from that to the healing. So this disease, this fat, told a story.
Yes.
And we listened to that story, and her fat was her friend. It was protecting her. Suffering. And you started the show, Theresa, with the reality of the suffering in this world. The hurricanes happening unbelievably. Houston, Miami, the Caribbean. I'm due to speak in the Bahamas in December. Hopefully the yoga retreat there will be fine. I'm teaching a whole week on mindful healing. And the Caribbean is getting hit. And earthquakes in Mexico, looking for little children alone in the dark, still breathing underneath the rubble of an earthquake.
Yeah.
There are two kinds of suffering. One is suffering that leads to more suffering. Going on another diet to lose the 50 pounds because you're fat and ugly and you hate yourself. I'm passionate about this because I feel the pain. I see the suffering. I'm a wounded healer. I'll tell you that in a moment. But I sense the pain of patients as much as I want to cure them and fix them and take them out of it and give them a better diet than Nutrisystem and Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers and all of that keep them caught in that dance. The healing is the second kind of suffering that leads to the end of suffering, facing that painful truth.
Yes.
There's no running away from that. The journey home to ourselves. Along the way, we try to ease it. We try to ease our suffering. We can feel good. We can do yoga and relax, and we can take some supplements to help with our adrenal glands, etc. But that's not healing a broken heart. That's not healing a wounded child who feels scared and helpless and needs love from abuse and abandonment and neglect and in their life.
Right.
And for me, in my life, the second story I want to share and why I do this work is because my father was a soldier in World War II.
Wow.
If you saw the movie Saving Private Ryan, he was one of those people in those boats onto the islands in Normandy, onto the beaches in Normandy.
So, folks, Doctor...
And he suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, which then was called shell shock. I grew up with someone who lived with that, with his nightmares and his traumas and his flashbacks. No one explained to me what was going on with Daddy. I inherited some of it epigenetically, which I ended up learning more about through my own meditation practice and yoga practice. And my father died on the operating table. Actually, in 1974, his date of death is September 24th.
Wow.
So this is poignant that I'm speaking, and you'll be hearing me on September 25th.
Right, wow.
The anniversary of his passing.
That's amazing.
Some 43 years.
So it's
he died beautiful. On the operating table having bypass surgery.
Wow.
He may have needed that. His heart gave out from the trauma of war.
Right. So we
but
do need
to take a break. The deeper wounds of his heart and the trauma of war were not addressed and healed. So I've, in my career, dedicated myself. I want to heal both. I want to heal the heart so that the person can stay alive, and I want to heal the wounds of the heart so they stay alive to become themselves and not suffer that way as well. Treat the whole person.
All right. So we do need to take a break. This is, the understanding, the compassion, is so there. And so we're going to be more with Dr. Epstein after the break, and he's going to lead us through a short meditation. Stick around. We'll be right back.
There's a book that makes it so easy to embrace a healthy, gluten-free lifestyle, even kids will like it. Filled with heartwarming stories, food as medicine health tips, easy allergy-free recipes, and creative culinary inventions, the award-winning book Yum by Dr. Theresa Nicassio is your source for all of this and more. So make gluten-free living easy, tasty, and fun. Get Yum, plant-based recipes for a gluten-free diet at Amazon.com or visit yumfoodforliving.com. That's yumfoodforliving.com.
What does HealthyLife.net and Amazon.com have in common? Well, they're both available on the Internet. They both give great value. But most important, most of our positive program hosts and guests are accomplished authors, and their books are available from, you got it, Amazon.com. Now, it even gets better than that, because when you're listening on air to a HealthyLife.net host or guest, you can go directly to Amazon.com and you can order your book while you're still listening to your favorite HealthyLife.net program. So when you hear an author you like, go to the homepage of HealthyLife.net and click on Amazon.com.
When you have a food allergy or dietary limitation, Dr. Theresa Nicassio knows it's hard to give up the foods you love, so she decided to put on her chef hat and give you affordable, personalized culinary consultations that will light up your taste buds. You'll explore substitute ingredients so you can enjoy your favorite foods again. She'll even help you make food preparation easy and guide you on your path to healthy living. And to get started, all you have to do is call 604-445-6463. That's 604-445-6463.
HealthyLife.net, the positive radio network.
YumFoodForLiving.com is the place to get easy, allergy-free recipes, all free of sugar, gluten, and dairy. But that's not all you'll get when you visit YumFoodForLiving.com. You'll get resources for all kinds of things like wellness articles, videos, podcasts, a blog, all to help you create easy, healthy living. There's even a 50-page downloadable book introducing you to the philosophy of yum. Don't wait. Visit YumFoodForLiving.com. YumFoodForLiving.com. That's YumFoodForLiving.com.
HealthyLife.net, the positive radio network.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Dr. Theresa Nicassio Show, where we celebrate life, love, and kindness while addressing the real challenges that are a natural part of living. We're here today with Dr. Paul Epstein. He's talking about his mindful healing approach to working with pain and illness as the third of our three-part series about mindful living. This series has been dedicated to all whose homes, lives, and communities have been ravaged by the recent storms and earthquakes. And as we were talking about with Dr. Paul before the break, this is it's a poignant time on so many levels, and on top of it, it just so happens to be the time of reflection and renewal and so forth. And so it's a beautiful time to have this program. And so today, Dr. Epstein said he would be willing to lead us through a meditation, and he's given lots of context and stories about the soul and how attending to our self-love and love of each other, feeling loved and connected, and the realities of trauma and the epigenetics and all of that are related. So Paul, would you like to do a little introduction to this? Oh, I guess before we do, real quick, I'll mention that Dr. Paul is offering some amazing free gifts on his profile page. If you go to my website, on the profile page, you'll find that he's got some amazing, wonderful gifts, and they're free. And all you need to do is, if you want to sign up for the newsletter and get his good things, which this newsletter is awesome, that you can also get these really wonderful gifts. I don't know if you want to speak about those first and then get into the meditation. It's really your call. Paul, take it away.
No, I think you covered the gifts fairly well. They can go and access them.
Great, good. So we've had a wonderful context and about the importance of really attending to the mind-body connection. And so, what would you like to do in terms of guiding us through?
So here's the how-to. Okay, we want to know how. What does all of this mean?
Right, and you've written a book about this.
Practically speaking, there are 3 questions to ask. And we'll come back to a meditation in the third aspect. The first, again, is how did I come to be this way? What's my story? What happened to me? So whatever's going on, explore your biography and how it's connected to your life, to your history, to your body, to your relationships, to your career. Really get to know yourself and your own story. That's important. The work I do is with the body and illness as a physician, but it's connected to everything. The second question is, are you willing to listen with the ears of your heart to the voices speaking? And that's to stop and look inside and reflect and contemplate and explore the message and meaning that might be there. And the third question, which will be a guided meditation, is an exploration of the question, how can I be with this? Our energy for relating to our pain and wound is not what do I do to fix it, get rid of it, change it, be free from it. The opposite. Our reflection is, how can I be with it? How can I embrace it? How can I welcome it into my heart as a guide from beyond, as Rumi's poem, The Guest House, speaks? For that requires mindfulness, to be present in the moment, to be aware of the mind, the body, the breath, our thoughts, our emotions, just as they are in the now, without resistance, without trying to make something happen, without trying to get anywhere. So even as I'm speaking, you can begin to come into a meditative awareness, to reflect on these aspects of mindfulness, a beginner's mind. What can I learn from this? As if for the first time, even if I've lived with this pain, this issue, this struggle, this stress, whatever it may be, this suffering, let me step back and have a beginner's mind and perhaps see it with new eyes. Can I be patient with it? Can I be in the moment with it? Can I not judge it? Can I trust a process of exploration, not striving to fix it? It's the truth that liberates us, not our effort to be free. Mindfulness helps us be with our truth in the moment through awareness of the breath as a beginning grounding process to tune in. And accepting what's there, welcoming what's there, just as people who are recovering from addiction will go to a 12-step meeting and accept, hi, my name is, and I'm a X, this is my problem, this is my suffering, and sharing their story without shame, with acceptance, and embraced by the other people there. So that's the role of the mindfulness, to now take whatever issue, pain, difficulty you may have, and explore a way of being with it that's mindful, that you can be present, that you can welcome it. There may be resistance, there often is. There may be judgment, there often is. There may be impatience, there often is. There may be a striving to fix it, there often is. There may be an effort to not accept it and push it away and not want to let it be. Of course, we've been avoiding this. It hurts, it's challenging, but it's universal. We're not alone. It's not our pain alone. It's the pain of life. It's the suffering that's spoken about in the teachings of Buddhism, the truth of suffering, the first noble truth. And there's a path and there's a way of ending and healing that suffering. And it's a way through. So we welcome it. We breathe it in. And we breathe out. Compassion. That's the second part. Bring awareness to it with a welcoming attitude and intentions of presence, intentions of acceptance, intentions of non-judgment, and seeing it clearly and befriending it. And then bringing a heart, opening our heart of compassion for ourselves. I'm having a hard time right now. This is difficult. This is challenging. This hurts. I don't like this. I don't want this. This is pain. Free me. Help me. But doing it in a way that's opening the heart to it and making room for it, embracing it instead of resisting it, welcoming it into our hearts instead of pushing it away, bringing self-compassion. This is part of being human. This is the human condition, and this actually frees us because it takes us from being the victim. We're the only ones who suffer this, and it's happening just to me. No, we're not alone. It's our suffering that actually unites and connects us, and through our compassion for ourselves and for others. So this is the basic context, the basic paradox. The more we strive to fix it, cure it, treat it, heal it, get rid of it, change it, whatever, as much as that's a well-intentioned effort, the degree to which it blocks facing it, opening to it, welcoming it, touching it with the mercy and compassion of our own heart, we stay stuck in our suffering. It's like chasing our tail. But to do this really does require courage and commitment, and it's not easy. And that's why we need compassion. But empowering and hopeful and helpful and supportive, we are deserving of this love. It's our nature. Can we welcome that true nature? It's not trying to become what we're not. It's just being who we really are underneath, which is human, with our goodness and our hearts that break, and our bodies that can get illness and hurt as we age. Can we touch that with mercy, with awareness, with mindfulness, with compassion? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you be with things, the things you be with change. With mindful healing, with mindfulness and compassion, we're changing how we look at it. Not as our enemy to fix and get rid of it, but as our friend, as our teacher, to welcome as parts that need the heart of compassion. Like a little baby crying. We don't want the baby to cry, but we hold it in our arms until it stops. And it's our love and compassion and presence that gives it the space to let it know it's okay, it's safe. So if you can find a place in you where you can attend to and connect with the part of you inside that may be a scared little girl or boy. This is what I've learned from a quote from Rumi. Perhaps all the dragons in our lives are princesses waiting to see us act just once with beauty and courage. Perhaps everything that frightens us is, in its deepest essence, a part of us that feels helpless and needs our love. In closing, that's the simplest message. The most powerful healing force we have is within us. The cave we fear to enter contains the treasure we seek. It's our own inner loving, compassionate nature connects us to ourselves and to others. We're all part of the whole.
Oh,
Thank you for inviting me, Theresa. I very much appreciate the opportunity to share with you and the audience. I hope this message is of support and of use to people on their journeys of healing and awakening. Thank you so much.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Paul. And thank you, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this show today, really reconnecting with the soul, with love, with our humanity, embracing and accepting who we are and the realities of our fragility as humans, but also the power of the human spirit to help us to transcend, move through, and heal. So I hope you've all enjoyed this show and the entire 3-part Mindful Living series. This series has been dedicated especially to the stormquake, fire victims, everybody, anybody who's been impacted by these natural disasters, as well as, even if you have natural disasters that happen in your own life, your own health. I want this to be dedicated to you. All of us are in this together. And I also want to just, again, say it's also dedicated to those of you who are stepping up and helping, reaching out, putting out your helping hand. Be sure to tune in next time when we have our new day and time when Dr. Jill Carnahan's going to be with us again. This time she's going to be talking about the health implications of toxic mold exposure and what you can do if you are unfortunately finding yourself having to deal with it. And with all of these big storms and rain disasters, usually several months later, there's toxic mold can become a very big issue. So this is a show you're definitely going to want to watch or listen to. I always want to say watch. Anyway, everybody, thank you again for your time, energy, open hearts, and during this very difficult time. I'm Theresa, and this has been the Dr. Theresa Nicassio Show. Until next time, remember that you are much more than your pain, and that healing really is possible from the inside out. Until next time, I look forward to.
Being inspired by a speaker while learning everyday positive information that you can use to help your life is exactly what Dr. Theresa Nicassio does when she speaks in front of your group. From healthcare professionals to special needs parenting and everything in between, Dr. Theresa Nicassio can customize topics for your group on everything from health to psychology. To book Dr. Theresa Nicassio as a speaker for your group, visit yumfoodforliving.com or call 604-445-6463. That's 604-445-6463.
If you're like the 8 out of 10 women that say finding jeans that fit is a problem, well, your problem is solved. Lee Jeans has done extensive research, and they have jeans that fit. There's even an online Lee Fit Finder so you can find the right fit for you. Imagine jeans that instantly slim you with a custom fit and no gap waistband. And guys, kids, Lee has jeans for you too. Click through to Lee's Jeans on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page and get what fits.
When you have a food allergy or dietary limitation, Dr. Theresa Nicassio knows it's hard to give up the foods you love, so she decided to put on her chef hat and give you affordable, personalized culinary consultations that will light up your taste buds. You'll explore substitute ingredients so you can enjoy your favorite foods again. She'll even help you make food preparation easy and guide you on your path to healthy living. And to get started, all you have to do is call 604-445-6463. That's 604-445-6463. There's a book that makes it so easy to embrace a healthy, gluten-free lifestyle, even kids will like it. Filled with heartwarming stories, food as medicine health tips, easy allergy-free recipes, and creative culinary inventions, the award-winning book Yum by Dr. Theresa Nicassio is your source for all of this and more. So make gluten-free living easy, tasty, and fun. Get Yum, plant-based recipes for a gluten-free diet at Amazon.com. Or visit yumfoodforliving.com. That's yumfoodforliving.com.
Radio your way. HealthyLife.net.